name is Ulises Ricoy. I self-identify as a Mexican-American, first-generation Chicano, and I am the faculty director affiliated to the Department of Neuroscience at the University of Arizona in Tucson. First and foremost, I'm a faculty member. I teach in the department. It's a land-grant institution. And so a lot of the students, especially the most recent students, that have exponentially amplified the enrollment at University of Arizona are local students, meaning they are Tucson local residents or Arizona state residents, which for the most part, many of them, 90% of them are first gen, largely Hispanic, and socioeconomically recipients of Pell Grants, meaning that they are essentially walking into what I like to say sometimes an ivory tower that they have no idea what they're going to encounter. My role there as faculty director, particularly with the mission with NSF, the mission of the Division of Undergraduate Education, and in particular the mission of Hispanic-Serving institutions, the role is not just to enroll the students. The role is to make sure that that they succeed, but specifically BIPOC students, populations that have been marginalized. My research area deals with marginalized populations and the utilization of open access, do-it-yourself approaches, open science, in neuroscience by creating equipment that's accessible, that's readily available, which is often not the case in science, so that anyone that wants to raise their hand and say, I want to record neural spikes, action potentials, electrical signals from cockroaches, from clams, or from even bacteria, they can. And they can do this at your home. Because one of the goals of diversifying science, one of the goals of broadening access, is that science is very elite. And so that if you're not in a laboratory setting, even, you're considered that what you're doing is not science. Science is not about the techniques that you use, but it's about the questions that you ask and to play like a kid, to spark and tap into that intrinsic curiosity that we all have, so that we say, you know what? I think I can get a PhD. I think I can study neurochemistry. I think I can study neurophysiology. That's really my goal in any institution, but I am committed to the Southwest. Before I was at the University of Arizona, I worked for 11 years at Northern New Mexico College in Española, New Mexico, just north of Santa Fe, about 25 miles, in the heart of the Rio Grande Valley, which is my second home. That's the place that I've lived the longest after Mexico City, which is where I would have told you I'm from many years ago. But now, when I go home, the first question I get asked is, where are you from? When I get pulled over by the police here, the first question I get asked is, where are you from? My response is, I'm not from here, I'm not from there, I'm a Chicano. And I have found my voice. I have found my people in conferences like HSI Hub, in communities that are speaking the same language, in communities that understand what the troubles are, what the barriers are. I'm in an institution where students that have to work, students that have family commitments, God forbid if you have any mental health illness, those students are defined not serious. That's not acceptable. What do you mean not serious? Am I not serious because I may have overcome addiction problems? Am I not serious because I suffer from PTSD? Am I not serious because I am trying to be a spokesperson in recovery, in healing, which is part of my intersectionality, which is part of my culture, which is part of why I'm here? I need to come here to recharge. I need mentors. I was born in Austin. My dad was actually at UT Austin studying geology, which was really an opening for my family to study science, or to just study college. And very early on, I found a fascination for bugs. for insects in particular. And one of the passions that I had was creating these racetracks. I had a little yellow Tonka truck, and I used to put on the bed roaches and ladybugs and crickets, and then I would construct racetracks to try to compare who would win, if you will. I never imagined that the first person that did these kinds of experiments with bumblebees, with cockroaches, and published this work, his name was Charles Turner. Charles Turner was the first black scientist in the United States that published in the journal Science. He laid a foundation that is now a whole field of neuroethology. And yet, when I go to circles that are elite, many Ivy League schools, many courses that are advanced courses in Cape Cod, in prestigious institutions like the Marine Biological Laboratory, where I have had the fortune to teach and be a student. And I ask the question, how many of you have heard of Charles Turner? Not a single hand goes up. And that's unacceptable. The reason I'm so passionate is because I have found my voice. There have been men in my story that have abused me. And I have other kinds of trauma. Gangs, drugs, accidents. And the reason that I am so spoken about this, it's because for a long time, I didn't bring myself entirely to the lab, so to speak. And I didn't realize that by not doing that, or by doing that, I was limiting part of my brain, part of my culture, part of my identity. And I'm a firm believer of diversity in all respects. Diversity of discipline, diversity of thought, diversity of culture. What better way to solve problems of the brain? What better way to understand how the brain stores information? What happens when that goes wrong and you have something like PTSD? Why is it that some people have the obsession of the mind and you cannot stop thinking about crack cocaine or crystal meth? Why is that? Why is it that some rats lever press and some don't? Why is it that some people, once they get a tattoo, you want more and more? Why does those things happen? Right? And so that passion, that intrinsic curiosity, I don't need to have a PhD to have that. Right? And so it is my sense of duty. It's a joy. It's my obligation to pay it forward for all of the people that have helped me. This particular conference, especially this conference, this group here, many of them I've known for over 30 years. Many of them I just met. But it's a family. It's a circle. It's not a line. And I'm a visual person. And I like what a circle represents. When I took math, one of my instructors said, circles can get larger and smaller. So this conference, it's about making that circle larger. It's about bringing others in. It's in asking myself, am I allowing to be brought in to the circle? Or am I walking in life like you're going to throw me a chingazo? Because I've had enough of that already. And that's not why I'm here. I'm here to be real. I'm here to be able to talk to somebody else, to another human being, and to hear other experiences. This conference is precisely about that. And not only that, but logistically, in putting these ideas that I'm talking about, 30,000 feet. There's people that have said this. Can you land your ideas that are 30,000 feet so that they're not pipe dreams in the grass? Can you land that? I'm 48 years old. I feel like I'm a first-timer here. I feel like this is my first meeting. I'm emailing mentors and I'm asking their help. So it's my obligation to extend my hand to others as well. We're in all of this together, man. Whether you're a Chicano or black or brown or yellow or white or whatever. When one looks at life in that way, it's a gift. It's another opportunity that we have. that I have. The only thing I have is my story. But if I don't speak up, if I don't say what I need, no one's going to hear me. And so in this place, I'm putting together my toolbox, my hammer, my nails, right? My measuring tape, right? And sometimes I hear more often than not, I hear what I don't want to hear, which is the truth. And the truth hurts, which is what are the things that I'm not doing that I need to be doing? Or what are the things that I'm doing that I better stop? This is a compass realignment spiritually. And at the same time, there's no greater sense of happiness that I have tapped into that when you can live your life and get paid at the same time for what you're doing. Nobody can rob that from you. I don't care if you're cleaning toilets or if you're slicing brains, right? That's the real deal.